Oh my God. Can you explain to me? Can someone explain to me the biggest choke job in the NBA Finals? You choke away Game 7 and now this? I mean, the New York Knicks took the Cavaliers. And we get this choke job? The MVP with 35 points? Putting up and surrounded himself by a group of chokers? I mean, what happened out there? What happened out there? You let Victor Wembanyama have a way with you. 22 points for him. He led the Spurs to points that night. Points. Can you believe De'Aaron Fox stripped the ball from you guys twice? De'Aaron 3 times. Devin Vassell had 2. And you guys got out rebounded. You got out hustled. Well, except for Jalen Williams, 10 rebounds tonight. But what a choke job. The MVP is now going to sit home, watch the NBA Finals from home. And for the first time in 8 straight years, we're getting a new champion. 8 years. Ever since the Golden State dynasty, there's always that parity, and there's always that parity. 2019, we got Toronto. 2020, we got the Lakers in the bubble. We got 2021, there was the Bucks. 22, the Warriors came back and returned to the throne for at least a year. Then the Nuggets in 2023, and the Celtics in 2024, and the Thunder last year. This is a shock. This is a surprise to me here. And of course, it's the first time since 1999 the New York Knicks will take on the San Antonio Spurs in the playoffs. Or let me correct myself. The NBA Finals. Can you? I cannot imagine and as we look at this, oh my God. Tell me this isn't real. Tell me it is not real. 22 points from Victor Wembanyama. That's a shot. That's a shock to me. 22 points from Vic. That's not hyperbole. That's not hyperbole, folks. 22 points, 7 boards, 2 assists, 1 block, and 1 steal. Got a turnover that game. What is going on here? Let me move this up here. Apologize for that. We got the reigning MVP. The reigning MVP. 35 points. 4 rebounds. 9 assists. 3 steals. 1 block. He had a heck of a game. 1 block. 1 heck of a game. 3 turnovers to his credit. And they choked. They choked their way to an NBA Finals loss, NBA playoff loss. Are you kidding me here? And I'll say this. It's just as shocking as it is. I am embarrassed to root for a team that has an MVP to have an MVP season. This is embarrassing for me, and I can't imagine this. And of course, Victor Wembanyama, of course, from the Associated Press, Victor Wembanyama and the San Antonio Spurs started the Western Conference Finals with a win in Oklahoma City. then ended the series the same way. The champions are dethroned. Wembanyama and the Spurs are headed to the NBA Finals. As for OKC, they'll be spending so much time fishing. They will spend their time fishing. And of course, Wembanyama scored 22. Julian Champagnie got 18 of his 20 points off three-pointers. And the Spurs beat the defending champion, Oklahoma City Thunder, 111 to 103 on Saturday night, bucking every odds to win a Game 7 on the road. Stefan Castles, 16 points. De'Aaron Fox, 15. Dylan Harper added 12. And Keldon Johnson and Devin Vassell each finished with 11 for the Spurs, who are headed to the NBA Finals for the first time since 2014, where they won the whole damn thing. And the Frostbank Center will be the home of Game 1 when they take on the Eastern Conference champion New York Knicks. Of course, Shea, the MVP, led the Thunder with 35 points, but for the 8th consecutive season, the NBA will have a new champion. I am speechless. I really am wait this. I'll say that, and I think and of course, and when you think of what's going on in the NBA so far, you have to think that the Spurs assistant Sean Sweeney will take over the job as the Orlando Magic's head coach, but he has to finish the remainder of the postseason. You has to, I guess you could say, he has to start the season that year, but he has to finish this up with the Spurs. We'll take on the Knicks that way. I think that you have a great system that helps big time. And when you have someone who knows a thing or two, I think we'll see how that plays. And speaking of the Knicks, I know that many of you are wondering. Mitchell Robinson plans to play in Game 1 of the NBA Finals while wearing a brace in his hand after undergoing surgery on his broken right pinky finger. Mike Brown says he has surgery on a finger. It was not clearly exactly when Robinson was injured, though Brown said the center was not injured during Game 4 or in practice. The Knicks declined to give further details about the injury. Of course, video showed Robinson grabbing his right hand and shaking it going down the court with 5:35 left in the quarter Monday after coming down from attempting to rebound a missed shot by teammate Mikal Bridges. Of course, Robinson played off and on until 7:47 left in the fourth quarter as the Knicks completed their Eastern Conference Final sweep against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Of course, the Knicks will open the finals for the first time since 1999 against the San Antonio Spurs. Of course, Robinson is averaging 5.3 points, 5.5 rebounds, and 0.6 blocks in 14.2 minutes per game in the playoffs with his roll off the bench and someone who can fill in if fellow big man Karl-Anthony Towns gets into foul trouble. On the defensive end, the 7-foot Robinson has been the subject of fouling from opponents because of his issues at the free throw line, where he is 13 for 43. Yeah, I guess. And I think when you think about it, I'm looking forward to it. I think this is going to be an exciting part of it that make it better. I mean, but I'll say this. It's going to be, I mean, it began, the postseason began with 20 teams, April 14th, and now we're down to 2. I mean, the Spurs ended the Thunder's hopes of becoming the first team since the KD Splash Brothers led Golden State Warriors of 2017 and 2018 to win back-to-back titles, returning to the NBA Finals for the first time since raising their 5th banner in 2014. I mean, in the way, the Knicks were red hot. They stormed through the Eastern Conference, winning 11 consecutive games by an average of 23.8 points to reach the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. But when their title hopes were dashed by Tim Duncan, David Robinson, and the Spurs. I mean, I think this is a shock to me. The stakes, whichever team manages to emerge from the Spurs Knicks series victorious, will etch themselves in NBA history in different but massively significant ways. I mean, you have a good core of Wemby and Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper. This is a good young group of players. We were the most tortured fan base. We knew that for a couple of years. Meeting fans. It was before I grew up during the Patrick Ewing years, and before that, a lot of you fans have survived through the Willis Reed years and Walt Frazier. Now Brunson's there. Jalen Brunson, he's done tremendous. He's got to perform at the highest level. I remember. Okay, so let's look back. We had this. We played 3 times. We played them 3 times in the NBA Cup final. The NBA Cup game. We beat the Spurs 124-113. That was a big deal for us because we wanted the work was not done. But the regular season series, they beat us close, 134-132. And we beat them. And on March 11th, and a few months back, we beat them 114-89. We are 2-0 and 2-1. And Wemby is a good team. Wemby is a good player. He's once in a generational player that I see as the face of his league. Other than Shea SCA or they got to Nikola Jokic and Luka Doncic. He's that kid. He's that guy. But Brunson's a guy. But Brunson's a good player. They have to. I mean, they have to they have a few days rest, 9 and they'll probably try to get things working before that. They have to show them. They have to show the world that they are better than it. They are better, and make sure they have that deep bench. This was a problem when I was for the last few years when Tom Thibodeau was the head coach. He did not use his bench properly. I am going to say this. This has got to be the best chance the Knicks has done since 1999. This team never made it. Since then, I had to suffer through years and years of misery. From 2000, when we got knocked out of the Eastern Conference Finals by Reggie Minion Miller. A same Reggie Miller who put up 2 shots in the 95 Eastern Conference semifinals that knocked the Knicks out. I had to put up with that 4-eyed freak Yes, I call this guy the four-eyed freak, Scott Layden, when he traded Patrick Ewing to Seattle for a package of bullshit. And amongst it was, I wouldn't say Glenn Rice or Luke Longley, but he traded away young players and veterans, and draft picks he didn't want it for what? A past his prime Mark Jackson, the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man, Othello Harrington, trading away, dumping guys like Marcus Camby and a draft pick like that turned out to be in the name in 2002 for an oft-injured Antonio McDyess. The straw that broke the camel's back. Trading away Latrell Sprewell was pretty much a good move. It was no way he's going to survive in that shit show. And then it failed miserably. The injuries of McDyess held us back. And we suffered. Then we fired the four-eyed freak. Tossed out Don Chaney, who at one point replaced Jeff Van Gundy a few years back. And they brought in Isaiah Thomas and Lenny Wilkinson. They got to the playoffs where they got swept by the New Jersey Nets, where they play in Brooklyn. They play in Brooklyn now. And then after that, Lenny resigned. They brought in Larry Brown, fired him after one season. Isaiah Thomas coaches the team. The brawl that started, and then there was a brawl with the Nuggets. Remember the short had that classic tip-in shot that beat the Bobcats that year in 2007 was a highlight. And there were plenty of lowlights with it too. We sucked at 08. He got fired. Donnie Walsh came in, brought in Mike D'Antoni. Then we got him, and we rebuilt and trying to rebuild the right way. We're trying to rebuild the right way and save over the cap. We didn't get LeBron, but we got Amari Stoudemire. And we traded for Carmelo Anthony. And then there's when Mike left, he resigned, and then Mike Woodson took over, and the Sandy happened, and we got to win the playoffs. We went into playoffs in 2011, 2012, 2013. 2013 was the worst. We haven't won any division title, but we also lost to the Indiana Pacers in the second round. And that would later downward spiral to that Gwen Grunwald left, Phil Jackson took over, fired Mike Woodson, installed Derek Fisher, had a bad season, and then midway in the season, Fisher got fired, Kurt Rambis took over. Kurt Rambis is not a good fit for this coach, not a good fit to coach this team. Then Jeff Hornacek came in, Phil left. Thank God I couldn't put up with that guy, Seago. God, he sucked. God, he sucked as a GM. Then Scott Perry took over and built the team around him. Fired Jeff and brought in Dave Fizdale. Didn't work out. Mike Miller took over. And in came Leon Rose. Leon really built the Knicks from the ground up. You have to make the Jim Dolan left him alone. And he built this team from the ground up. Training away players, bringing in new fresh faces like Jalen Brunson, Mikal Bridges, and everybody else. We made it to the Eastern Conference Finals last season under Tom Thibodeau, but we lost to Indiana. And then your prior semifinals, we lost to Indiana. We always have that problem with Indy, but until when Halliburton went down with injury, I'm like, big break. We get a shot. But we're not going to do it with Tom Thibodeau. We're not going to do it with a guy who can't use his bench properly. He's way too stubborn. I mean, he's got that Peter DeBoer. He's got that Peter DeBoer look. Peter DeBoer look at me. Yes, and I'm referring to the head coach of the New York Islanders, Peter DeBoer. The guy can take you to the playoffs if you have talent. He's not going to win you a ring. Mike Brown took this team over. And look what happened. We're in the NBA Finals. We have 11 straight wins. And we got to play like we need it to be. The Knicks need to play their brand of basketball, just like that. Remember, if you beat the Spurs in the regular season, you can sure as hell beat these guys in the finals. This is a bit. I mean, they are very close to the second apron. I think they're gonna rebuild around them. That the glaring weakness under Tom Thibodeau, the Knicks bench is now a strength. I think they're gonna have to rebuild a little bit. I think this has to be a good team, and it's not going to be easy. I am embarrassed for basketball itself that the reigning MVP is going to sit at home while he's going to watch the team that beat his team play a team that's nothing to lose. And I'll say this. This is going to be a great finals. And it's going to and it all goes down on Wednesday night in front of a rabid crowd in New York City. All right, rabid crowd in San Antonio. They're going to host the fun. They're going to host the first NBA Finals since 2014. And now this team is hell-bent on winning an NBA title for the very first time since 1973. And all eyes are going to be on two key players on this world, Wemby and Jalen Brunson. That's what I see in it. And folks, don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the Home Turf Press on Substack, please do so in a link in the description. And as always, be a good human being. Stay happy and stay healthy. And I'll see you all next time.